What's going on, my loves? It's Knowledge Butterfly. As always, sending you guys out peace, blessings, love, and abundance. As you can see, the only light that I have going on in this room is candlelight. I am in a new moon mode. That's what I'm going to call it. This video is going to be really short. I just wanted to share something with you guys because I had an epiphany. I did a new moon ritual today. I set my intentions for completely purging a lot of things out of my life. And then after I did the purge, I then transmuted it and set the things that I want to bring forth in 2020. Um, excuse me. So I had met up with my sister yesterday. Shout out my beautiful sister. And me and her were catching up because we try to get together, if not once a month. Definitely, we don't normally let 2 months go by without seeing one another. And I just met her last year. She's dope as hell. She's originally from New York. She's beautiful. She's awesome. And I love her. Anywho's, me and her got up and we were catching up face to face. And whenever we get together, we truly do activate some things. Like, it's almost like when she says stuff, downloads just be coming to me. So I get an understanding. Even if it's not right there at that moment, like maybe like a minute or so later, it'll come to me. I'm like, oh shit, I understand. And I'll give her a different perspective of a dream or whatever. So she was telling me about a situation, and I told her she should write a letter in order to release that person. And I said, you don't have to tell that person. You could just write the letter and release them. She's the second person I did that with, because I also did that with another family member. And this is a blood family member, where she's a soul family member. This is a blood family member. And I told her, I said, you know what? Since that came to me twice, that means it's something that I'm supposed to do. So I actually wrote letters to 4 different people in my family, and I also did like 5 different releases of energy that I wanted to let go of in myself. Realizing that those people that are the blood family members that I wrote to, that they are also aspects of my innerverse, right? And I'm going to get into that as well. So anywho, I wrote those letters. I went outside. I hadn't done an outdoors ritual in a long time. This was the first time that I felt like, okay, it needs to be done. And it's crazy because this is the first new moon of, this Gregorian calendar. And so this is the perfect start, the perfect way to start, the actual Lunar New Year. And also, this is going into Chinese New Year. So I went outdoors and I read each one of the letters that I wrote in releasing things. Then I burnt those, and they started off burning slow, but then the fire picked up and it just whoosh, like it was gone. And then the second thing I burnt was these bills that were sent to me that I had been holding on to. I actually had got it last year, and a little bit of fear had gripped me, so I know that's why I was still holding on to it, because I knew I wasn't paying that bullshit. So it was like, okay, why the fuck you holding on to it? Anywho's, today I was like, it's time to release it. So at first I was about to burn it. It was a stack, all right, all from the one credit card place, and it was Staples, some papers. So at first I was like, I'm gonna burn it like as a stack, and then I said, you know what? No, I'm gonna separate each one. So I just tore off each one, the papers, and then I start burning it in a pile. And when I tell you that shit went up in flames, it was so much smoke that came from it. And at the end of it, because as it was burning, I was speaking things into the air, because if anybody's watched videos of me talking about my rituals before, I like to deal with fire, burning it, because I love the different elements that come into play. You're already burning paper, and the paper represents the earth. Then you have the fire element, because you're lighting it on fire with, the match or the lighter. And then you're dealing with the smoke, which is dealing with the air, and it's going up into the ether, which is the water and ether at the same motherfucking time. All right. And so, then you speaking things, so you're using your voice to speak those things into existence, and you're creating. So it's a really powerful ritual, and not even to mention the fact that you're writing on paper with that ink, so you're writing your script. That's magic in itself. So anywho's, after I burnt that bill, when I tell you that smoke, I continue to look at the smoke. The smoke is the words that you spoke, and it's also the words you wrote on that paper. If you wrote it on, like, you were releasing something. But this was the smoke from the bill, so it wasn't anything I wrote on it. I spoke. That smoke looked like a fucking angel with wings. It turned into, I no lie, turned into a figure with wings, and then it was gone just like that, and was gone in the air. So I know how powerful that ritual was. And so then I came back in, and as I came back in from finishing that ritual, I automatically got an epiphany about the year 2020. All right. So I say all of that I said before, talking about my ritual and, releasing things and doing the paper. That is a very, very powerful thing to do, going in, dealing with this 2020, and with this being the lunar new year. We have the solar new year on January the 1st, but this is the lunar new year. This is the first new moon of the year 2020. And what that is basically saying is you are working on the balance, because 2020 is calling for us to balance our energies, to balance who we are ourselves, balance our chakras, balance our motherfucking minds. And the chakra system, for those who don't know, is your emotional energy centers. And the bottom 3 chakras are all dealing with the earth. And that's not counting the earth star chakra, because, counting that's 4. But it's all dealing with your connection with the earth. All right? It's all of your trauma. It's all the things that you went through, and all of the trauma and things that you went through on your bottom chakras. They are reflecting back to your higher chakras, causing blockages. So, for instance, if somebody has an issue with their solar plexus, meaning that, let's say you have an underactive solar plexus, you have a hard time with your self-esteem. Therefore, your throat chakra, you would not easily speak your mind. You would hold things in, right? So what this year is calling for is for you to start releasing all of those things you have been holding on to that's causing for blockages in your chakras and causing for you not to be your true self, and also releasing it so that your heart can be light as a feather, because all of that trauma and all of those things you're holding on to, it impacts your heart chakra, so your heart is not lighter than a feather. Remember, in one of my last videos, I talked about earth being an anagram for the word heart. If you take the H from the end of earth and put it in the front of the E, it becomes heart. So that's telling you the keys to leaving earth is to balance your fucking heart. All right? Which means releasing all those things that you got in your chakras that's causing from your heart to be heavy. Okay? And the second part that you want to release, besides your chakras, which is your emotions, which is your musical notes, is literally the fucking verse that you're putting out to the universe. It's the song you're putting out to the universe. Your thoughts are literally like lyrics that you're singing and rapping over and over and over and over and over again. They're mantras and they're affirmations. So that's why you have to change it to the positive affirmations in order to start to feed it something new, because what everything else you've been saying has been dis-ease, negative music that you don't even count the shit you watch. Your thoughts is what's really that's fucked up. You know what I'm saying? It's way more fucked up than everything else that's outside of you. Everything that's outside of you is a reflection of what your thought process is, because this universe is mental, all is mind. Now, the other part that you're supposed to be getting into is your fucking subconscious mind. So after you get your chakras in order, then you can start to work on your subconscious mind, and that is really like focusing on what exactly is it that you believe? So with dealing with your chakras and your emotions, you speaking those affirmations, you already starting to reprogram your subconscious mind. So that's why you have to start with your chakras first. Now, when you get to your subconscious mind, that is when you are dealing with, I just saw a light like flashing, and it looks like it's moving, but it's not. It's some weird shit, y'all. I would show y'all, but this camera is not going to stretch all that far, because I was like, is it a plane? And it's not a plane, because I know the planes be having those blinking lights. But it's a star. Yeah, it's a star, because it's still in the same place. Anywho's, getting back to your subconscious mind, your mind is broken up into many, many pieces. But before, I'm not even going to get into that, because I'm going to do a video specifically on that. But I'll just talk about the brain. I'll get off the mind and the brain. The brain has two hemispheres. It has a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere. You can call it east and west and east, or east and west. All right? And that is the duality. That's the battle. That's the true battle that's going on with humans, is the battle of your motherfucking mind. All right? It's the battle between your hemispheres of your brain. So getting to the point where you are balancing your mind and being more centered in your perspective, not going too far to the left and not going too far to the right. Because whenever you go too far to one side, then the other side, the pendulum has to swing back, and then the other side has to come back with, why it's right. It's like left Twix and right Twix. I'm actually going to use that as an example. That's literally what that shit is like. They both are Twix, but they're battling as to which one is better. That's what the left and the right brain is doing, those hemispheres. So it's time to balance those things. That's what 2020 is calling for. It's calling for a balance. 2020. That's that feminine energy, that yin energy. It's like Mayat energy. That's calling for us to like get it together. And it's a foundational number as well when you break it down to the number 4, which is telling for you to get your foundation in order. You can't sit there and build off of something that's shaky, because it's going to crumble and you're going to have another tower moment. And like me and my sister were talking about yesterday, we've already had our tower moment. The motherfucking shit has already fell. Okay, that shit is buried. So now it's time to like rebuild, but build on top of what? So what the thoughts that are in your mind is what you're building off of, because those thoughts is what's creating your reality. And until we truly understand that, then we'll keep making the same mistakes. So yes, or keep repeating the same lessons. So I just wanted to share that with you guys. I really feel like I got out everything I wanted to say, but like I said, I will be doing a video on that duality whole thing with the mind. I'll do a total separate video, maybe not tonight, because I kind of want to get back into my chill mode and just like relax and just really like, since I've let that go, I'm learning how to let things go and then move on to the next thing, because it's already done, because I spoke it. You know what I'm saying? I wrote it, I spoke it, it's done. Shout out Ciroc the MC, because she actually has a verse in her song Forever that talks about, it already being something, I don't know all the words, but because she spoke it, basically the shit has already been done, is manifested. But like I said, I'm going to end the video on that note, guys. I really appreciate you for tuning in and staying with me in this darkness. Like I said, I'm in a new moon type of mood. I got the light behind me representing my motherfucking soul that's always forever burning. It's the eternal flame in the darkness, bitch. And for those who don't know, I relaunch Heal Soul. I actually relaunch Heal Soul because I felt it. I felt that this was a time of balance. I felt that there are people out there who are holding on to these emotions in their chakras that's really bringing them down and weighing them down, because all that does is you feel heavy because your heart is so heavy. So when you start to release things out of your heart, you start feeling lighter and lighter and lighter. I actually did an in-person not chakra, but Reiki session, and I was focused on the chakras, and the person's foot kept jerking when I was on their Earth Star chakra. Like, that reflexes kept twitching, and I could feel it. Like, I could feel the energy coming out of me, going into that person, and I could feel that there was a blockage whenever there was, a twitch, there was a blockage. And so this is a young being. This is a child that I did this on, and I really do actually like doing it on children because I like the fact that you're starting early. But let me not get into that. See, I'm about to get into other things. But I say all that to say that that's a child, meaning that that person, there's no such thing as really a child or a baby, but this is a soul that incarnated recently. And so a lot of this stuff that I was dealing with is things that were imprinted on them while they were in that womb of the mother, and then also past life shit. So you can't just focus on what you went through in this lifetime. You got to deal with everything. You got to deal with you don't even have to know what really happened to deal with it. You just have to be able to be in tune with your intuition and realize that you have fucking imbalances and you have cycles that you keep repeating at every single time when the moon is in your moon sign. It's affecting you. You are supposed to be getting control over these motherfucking astrological signs and not letting them rule you. As long as you're not dealing with your emotions, you're going to continue to be ruled by your emotions. That's really what I'm saying. So I came into this lifetime with a lot of emotional baggage. That's why I learned my astrological chart, because I wanted to understand what the fuck the energy, from an energy perspective, astrologically, what it looked like. And understanding what I came into this motherfucker with, it actually helps you, start to come into like true knowledge of it and shed light on it so you can start to deal with it. And you can break those patterns and those cycles. We supposed to be generational curse breakers. If you watching this video and you watched it to this entirety, that means in your heart you want to be different than the shit that you grew up with, right? So start working on your chakras. Start doing exercises. I do chakra spinning. Shout out to Khadijah Samdi, that is Brother Panic's wife. She was the first person I heard talk about chakra spinning, and I used to actually do that before I had even heard her say anything about it. I used to visualize my chakras as spears, and now I actually visualize them as like a swirling pattern, like the Milky Way galaxy, and swirling or whatever, and encompassing my entire body, and also including the palms of my hands. And when I started doing it that way, the energy was so powerful. Like I'm just laying in the bed and I'm like, this body didn't even want to move because the energy was so powerful. You know what I'm saying? And I started doing that more and more before I do any Reiki sessions at night for any clients that I book, because I want to make sure that my energy is clear and cleaned out as much as possible, and that I'm in a good space to be performing that, so that my intentions can be totally focused on that person and clearing their energy. But I said like 3 minutes ago I was going to end it. I'm going to end it on that note, guys. Like I said, I really appreciate you for tuning in. If you tuned in for this amount of time, especially with me chilling in this darkness, honey. This is like that. What was that? The quiet storm, bitch. This is the quiet storm, and so I'm probably going to turn on some music and really chill and just fall asleep to something that resonates with this energy that I just released, and the new energy I magnified. So if you guys haven't heard, like I said, I've relaunched Heal Soul. You can go to my page. It'll be in the description box for the Holistic Energy Alchemist. That is on Instagram, and I actually just built a Facebook page. I'm going to finish that up, and I'll be connecting posts to that, so you can follow that page. You can also follow Knowledge Butterfly. I'll be posting some of my Heal Soul information on Knowledge Butterfly, but there are certain content that will only go to Heal Soul. So if you want to know like general knowledge about chakras and things of that nature, Reiki and all of that, because I post about the benefits of that in so many different ways, you can follow that page. So like I said, I'm going to end it because I'm going 20 minutes, and I said it was going to be short, but obviously, it is what it is. That's what my spirit felt, so I went ahead and continued on. I love you guys, and I thank you so much for tuning in. Peace. Happy new moon, y'all.